I wish that the people that are having diabetes or Crohn's or IBS or MS or, just all of these autoimmune diseases, hypothyroid, like who knows? I'm wondering, as I continue doing this, am I going to have to reduce my medicine at some point? Because maybe that will improve my thyroid. I don't know. But what I'm getting at is that so many people across the world, if they would just give this a try, I think they would find that it is a sustainable diet. It's not really a diet. It's giving your body the nutrition it needs, and then you can resist those urges to eat all of that bad stuff.
Vickie, how did you find carnivore?
Okay, so I heard about it a few years ago, and I was open-minded to it. I've done low carb before, and I thought about trying it back then, but I thought I would never be able to stick with the diet because it's so restrictive, and I failed it low carb before. I could only do it for like 6 or 8 weeks, and then I would give up. I saw some videos where people were talking about how when they went full carnivore, they stopped having cravings after a few weeks for like anything, carb related. And I think that was always where I failed in the past was like, when you're on keto and you can have that little small amount of carbs, and then I would have that taste and I would want more. And just eventually, it just wore me down, I guess. So I thought, this is like a willpower thing. And if I completely give up the sugar and the carbs, maybe then it would work. And so that kind of convinced me to give it a try. But that's not actually why I think it does work. I do think you kick the sugar addiction after a while, but the reason that I believe that it works is because it's so nutritional, like you're getting your full nutritional needs met. And so you just stop craving other foods. It's like you don't have that strong urge to continually eat because your nutritional needs are being met. So in my opinion, that's why carnivore is working for me. I've been doing it since December 21st, and I've lost about 25 pounds now. So yeah, I think it works because the meat is so nutritious that basically your body stops giving you those hunger cues to continually eat all the time. I mean, I eat twice a day and I feel full. I'm not feeling the need to snack and cheat on the diet and stuff like that. And it's been easy for me. I can't believe it. I mean, I'm 4 months in and I don't want to quit. So yeah.
That's always a good sign,
Yeah.
because any other way of eating, any other diet in the past, it's always like, I just want this to be over. When is it going to get to the point where I can, fit into that suit or that dress or whatever it is and get this over and done with and go back to eating normally.
Right. And I actually had to oh gosh, it's probably about a month ago. I had lost my debit card and I work 12-hour shifts. So on my work days, I work 5:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. I could not get to the bank. I didn't have any cash on me or anything. So literally, I just ran out of my steaks and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna, go off diet for a few days until I get a day off, and then I'll go get my debit card and whatever. And it was really shocking to me because I didn't want to do it. I was missing my steaks. It's like I was eating, some chicken tenders with my boyfriend, and I was like, man, I really want my steak and butter, and I can't wait until I can get back on that. So, it just goes to show, for me anyway, that it's not a hard diet to follow. I guess I'm really lucky that I like steak so much. It is probably my favorite of all the meats. So, like my boyfriend doesn't like steak. He's more of a chicken person. I don't know if he could do this diet. He does like hamburgers though, so there's that, I guess. But
So how has it been for the last 4 months? Like, for example, if you go out for dinner or you're cooking together and that kind of thing?
so he's not doing the diet. I'm not pressuring anybody in my family to do it. But I'm just feeling like I'm a good role model. 2 of my 3 children have started asking for steak almost every time, we have dinner now. They're like, hey, can we have some steak too? So, they're starting to see the changes in me, and I talk about it all the time. So I think that it's definitely top of mind, and people are being more open-minded about it. But I'm still, I'm just cooking that steak for myself separately, and making them what they want for dinner. And that's pretty much what we've been doing, and that's fine. It's working for me. So I hope that everybody else will transition to more meat-based, but I'm not being super pushy about it.
So, what was the initial impetus for you to start this? Was it the weight loss, or was it something
Well,
else?
I did want to lose weight, but that wasn't the real reason. I think what finally pushed me to try it was that I was in a lot of pain for about the past year or maybe year and a half. My feet have been hurting me so bad. Every time I would stand up to walk anywhere, I would just have this intense pain in my feet. And sometimes it was my ankles, usually it was just the bottom of my feet. Um, Sometimes my hands and my hips, when I would sit down. I was just starting to get a lot of achy joint pain, and I felt like I'm too young to be in this much pain all the time. I was starting to walk like an old person. No offense to old people, but I was like, I'm just not old enough to be feeling this way. I went to my doctor and I was like, hey, can you test me for arthritis? Flags or whatever they call it, in your system. And she did not find anything to indicate arthritis. And, I was like, well, what is causing this pain? And, she didn't really know. She thought maybe you need more supportive shoes or, I was gardening. I'm an avid gardener. So every summer, spring, fall, I am out in the garden. And I do typically wear just flip flops, which is not great. And so I thought maybe that was it. I bought some, really supportive shoes, and the pain just didn't go away. And it was every single time I would stand up. When I would get out of bed, when I would stand up from my desk at work, getting off the couch really hurt. And so I started looking on the internet, like, why am I in pain all the time? And I came across oxalates and, how they are in vegetables and everything. Um, and so I just started researching that. And at some point, that kind of tied in with the low carb carnivore thing. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, maybe I need to try an elimination diet just to see if that takes the pain away and see if that does work. I never thought that I could do carnivore long term. I always thought this is just a test. Let me eliminate all these foods, and I'm going to add back in foods and see which ones don't trigger my pain. But I did want to lose weight, and I was sure that that was going to happen too. So that was just added motivation. So, yeah, so after my last doctor appointment, which was December 21st, I was at 183 pounds, and I told my doctor I'm going to change my diet drastically to try to solve this pain problem. She didn't ask any questions about that, like, what do you mean you're going to change your diet? Or how do you think that's going to change your pain? Like, she literally didn't inquire about that, which is concerning. But um, anyway, I should mention I'm hypothyroid as well, and she thought that it might be related to my thyroid. And that is a symptom that they do list for people that have hypothyroid is, like joint pain and stuff like that. So, but I decided to do it. I went out and I bought all the meats. I bought every kind of meat you can think of, all the cheeses. I was like, I have to have as much variety as possible, or I'm not going to be able to do this. And bought a lot of butter. um, and then basically within about 2 weeks, I had stopped eating everything except for steak. And I eat, if I'm feeling like a snack, but I don't want to make a steak, I will have some cottage cheese as a snack. Um, I still drink coffee with cream, no sugar or anything like that, no flavors. But yeah, that's basically what I'm eating all the time. It's a very, very narrow selection of foods. Rarely do I go outside of that. The other day I made eggs and bacon for my kids, and it smelled good. So I decided to have some, and it was good. Wasn't as good as mixed egg though.
So, in these 4 months, has the pain gone, dissipated?
Yes, it's completely gone. It
Wow.
took about probably the first 2 months, I noticed it lessening. By month 3, I was like, okay, like most of the time when I stand up, it's not hurting anymore. It's like it's really starting to go away. And now every time. I can go up the stairs, down the stairs, just don't have any more pain. It's gone.
There's nothing quite like being able to navigate the stairs up and down, right?
Yeah, that's really important. I mean, I live on a terraced house, so I have probably 20 stairs just going up my front terrace to get up to the front door. And then, I live in a 2-story house, so I have to go upstairs to go to my bedroom. Um, you know, it's just like I was saying before, I just felt like I'm too young to be in this much pain all the time when I'm moving around, and my doctor tells me there's no signs of arthritis. She doesn't know why this is happening. There just had to be some reason. And as soon as I discovered oxalates online, I was like, I wonder if that's what's doing it, causing the inflammation and everything. So either the sugar or the oxalates or both, I cut them out. And now I'm not in any pain anymore. And I'm losing weight.
That's awesome. So you said you were doing 2 meals a day. How are those spaced out? Is that like breakfast and dinner or breakfast and lunch?
Um, it depends. It's usually lunch and dinner, I would say, or maybe like brunch and dinner. Um, I usually eat, if I'm not at work, I'll eat between like 9 and 11 in the morning. And then I'll usually eat again around, I don't know, 5 to 7. Just depends on when I'm hungry again. If I am working that day, then I usually cook something to take with me to work, and then I just kind of munch on it all day. Like cold steak is surprisingly good, and I just cut it into small pieces and literally eat it at my desk if I feel like it. So, but I take other stuff too, like sliced cheese and summer sausage and stuff like that. But just no carbs, no crackers, no treats, desserts, nothing like that.
How do people react at work?
Um, Everybody knows that I'm doing it. I think they think that it's pretty weird. Um, they've asked questions. People are curious. There's one person I think is kind of paying attention, and I think that she might give it a go. She's brought up to me, how, her boyfriend really loves meat, and it'd probably be easy for him to switch to this diet and stuff like that. So I think she's thinking about it. But I don't know. Nobody's said that they're doing it aside from me. There's some people that I work with that I wish would do it, some diabetic coworkers and, some other medical issues. So, my gosh, there's so many people in my life, friends, neighbors, family, coworkers. Now that I'm doing this and I feel like I'm becoming more metabolically healthy, I guess that's how you would say it. I just look around and see all these people with all of these issues, and I'm just thinking to myself, carnivore would fix that if you would just give it a try. But to so many people, it sounds absolutely insane to not eat any fruit or vegetables. And it sounds impossible to give up your french fries and stuff like that. And, I'm not going to say the first 2 or 3 weeks were easy, but as long as I kept myself full, if I ate until I was really full, it wasn't that hard to not cheat on the diet. And then once I got past that first 2 or 3 weeks and I was no longer craving sugar so hard, it's just not hard. I just eat a couple times a day. It's super easy. It takes me like 9 minutes to cook a steak, and it's delicious every single time. I don't know. I just don't get tired of it. I can't believe it. I can't believe how easy it is, which makes me feel like I can stick with this long term.
Yeah, one of the things I found with, you know, cooking is quicker and things like that is, with when you take into account shopping time and not thinking about snacking all the time and cooking time and eating time and all that kind of thing, you actually claw back a lot of time in your day. Do you find that?
I totally agree. If I wasn't still shopping for my whole family, my going into the shopping store would be super fast. Like I will go in and buy like $200 worth of steaks, and that lasts me 2 3 weeks. I don't know. I haven't actually sat down and figured out how much I'm going through, but it would be very simple because I need steak, butter, cottage cheese. I don't know. If I'm feeling crazy, I might pick up some pork rinds or something, but I bought a bag and I really don't even eat them. So it's just having that there in case I want that crunchy snack or like some bacon or something like that. But it does make eating so much simpler, and it's just fast, it's easy, it's simple. I don't think about food all the time. As long as I've had my steak, which is high protein and fat, I just feel like it gets me through.
So we talked about like the joint pain improvements and the weight loss and things like that. Now, over the last 4 months, have you noticed any improvement in areas like oral health or any fungal infections?
Yes. The very first thing that I noticed actually was that my teeth felt surprisingly smooth all the time. Even, if it had been like I brushed in the morning and then it's like 5 or 6 p.m., they still felt like shiny and smooth. If I had just been to the dentist and had my teeth cleaned, that's what they feel like all the time now. My gums are not bleeding when I brush them. They just feel healthier. So that was in probably within, I would say, 2 weeks, I noticed that difference. Another thing that I noticed right away was that my sleep was much improved. My mood just seems to be better. I don't know. I don't think I was ever like a person that had super high anxiety or depression, but I just feel calm and at peace, and I don't feel anxious about anything. I don't know. It's hard to describe to someone who hasn't felt that change that happens in your mood, but this actually is something that affects your mood. And, you know, gosh, my skin, like there's just so many different things that, I'd have to make a list, and it would be a full page long of all of the differences that it's made that I've noticed since I started eating this way. I just feel truly that I'm getting the nutrients that my body needs, probably for the first time in my whole life. And that reminds me of a story when I was a little girl. I was probably around 7 or 8. One of my earliest memories is of having a steak. And I remember how delicious it was. And I asked my mom, why don't we have this all the time? And she said, well, it's expensive and it's not good for you to eat it all the time. And I was like, oh, okay. And she's like, maybe once a week. And I was like, okay, you know. So that was one of my earliest memories. It's like something inside of me was like, this is what you want. This is what is good for you. And the same thing with like butter. I remember my mom used margarine growing up. And the first time that I tasted butter, I was probably a teenager. I don't remember, exactly when, but I remember tasting butter and thinking, this is delicious. Why have I not had this before? Why have we been eating this crap, basically? And, you know, the explanation that you get is just that it's bad for you and it's high in saturated fat or whatever. And I made a decision long ago. I was like, this tastes better. I'm eating this. And that's how I basically proceeded through my adult life, except for I didn't cut out before carnivore. I didn't cut out all of the carbs and, sugar and everything. But now that I know how easy it is to do this diet and live this way, I just don't see myself changing. I mean, I might have a vegetable here or there, with family or something, if I'm eating at somebody else's house or just whatever, there's a special occasion or something like that. But it's not because I want to cheat or I can't do the diet. It's just because, maybe it's a convenience thing or it's a special occasion.
Yeah. So imagine you're at work and they say to you, okay, well, do a quick presentation about this diet. Tell us why we should be on it. What would your best kind of pitch be about why other people should be trying this?
What I have been trying to tell people is that I've seen so many testimonial videos and I've read the comments of people on all of these carnivore channels, Homestead How and um, Dr. Chafee, and just all of these channels that all of us get into watching once we discover this way of eating. If you read the comments and if you watch the testimonial videos, this has helped so many thousands of people with so many hundreds of different medical issues. I just believe very strongly that at the root of all of our problems, all of these modern day diseases, is poor nutrition. And we didn't know that. We thought it was like, oh, we're eating too much, we're lazy, we're fat slobs. It's because we don't get out and ride our bikes anymore and all that stuff. I can tell you something. I don't go to the gym. I don't really exercise. Aside from gardening, which I've only started doing the past couple weeks because it's finally above freezing where I live. Um, I don't do any physical exercise, and yet in the past 4 months that I've been doing carnivore, I feel myself getting stronger. I can see the definition starting to come back in my stomach and my arms, and just my skin tone just looks better. Like, I literally know that I am getting healthier. I just feel it. So I I wish that the people that are having diabetes or Crohn's or IBS or MS or just all of these autoimmune diseases, hypothyroid, like who knows? I'm wondering, as I continue doing this, am I going to have to reduce my medicine at some point because maybe that will improve my thyroid? I don't know, but what I'm getting at is that so many people across the world, if they would just give this a try, I think they would find that it is a sustainable diet. It's not really a diet. It's giving your body the nutrition it needs, and then you can resist those urges to eat all of that bad stuff. And when you're eating a diet that is not nutritionally fulfilling, your body is going to keep telling you that you need to eat more. What it's really saying is eat different. Give me something different because I still need something. That's why I'm telling you I'm hungry. But I don't, it can't tell you what it is. But like I've heard other people talk about, oh, back in the caveman days or whatever, that's what they were eating was meat all the time. And it's true. And you hear about how the leader of the tribe would get the best cut of meat, or if we're talking about lions, the head lion would get the best piece of the animal kill or whatever. But the point is that those people that were living off of meat knew what was the most nutritious parts of their diet, and they prioritized that. And we've gotten so far away from that with all of the processed foods and all of that stuff, and it's not our fault. The American dietary, whatever, the food pyramid, like, we were preached to for years of how we should be eating less fat and not eat butter and eat margarine instead and all of that stuff. So people followed these recommendations, and it's just not working. And if we look back in the early 1900s, we didn't have so much heart disease and stroke and diabetes and cancer. Oh my God, cancer. I totally think that is a result of the sugar in our diet, and maybe oxalates too. I don't know. But now that I'm eating this way, I don't fear getting cancer. I don't fear getting diabetes or heart disease or continuing to gain weight until the point where, I'm clinically obese and can barely walk. So it's only been 4 months and it's already changed my life. And I wish more people would not immediately react and go, this is crazy. That's insane that you're not eating vegetables or fruit. Well, it's working. And if you just gave it a shot, it might save your life. It might give you an extra 20 or 30 years. That would be my pitch.
That was awesome. You're a natural. You should do public speaking, or motivational speaking or something like that. Um, so, so you mentioned cavemen. So you telling me that cavemen weren't stir frying snow peas?
No, I don't think so.
Um,
I mean, of course, we don't really know what cavemen were doing. I mean, honestly, we're speculating, but
yeah,
they didn't have the agricultural revolution going on like we do. So
yeah. Um, Vickie, if people want to reach out to you, do you have a YouTube or any social media if they want to get in touch?
So, I mean, people could contact me on Facebook if they wanted, but I don't have any carnivore related social media. I do have a very, very small gardening channel. And if you're not interested in gardening, you would not like to watch my YouTube channel. Um, so yeah, I think probably the best way would just be like Facebook or email, and I can provide you that if you want to put it in the notes or something.
Sure, that'd be great. Yeah, I'll include those below. Well, Vickie, thank you so much for coming on today and sharing your story. I really appreciate your time.
I'm honored you had me on. Thank you.